Okay, so the FA Cup third round has kicked off this season with Manchester United versus Everton as the Friday night game at Old Trafford. It's finished 3-1 to Manchester United on the night. It was 1-0 at half time. There were two key turning points in the second half that have swung the game in Manchester United's favour. The injury to Alex Iwobi, which I think is a broken ankle, with the amount of treatment he required, that isn't a sprain. He would have been taken off a bit quicker with ice on it. I think that's a fracture or a break. Foot gets caught in the turf during the challenge, which is a clean tackle. His foot just gets caught in the turf and buckles under him. 20 years ago, that is a full, horrible bone out the leg break. It's still worrying injury. And within 2 minutes of play resuming, Man United have scored their second down his channel, down his side of the field. So that has been a turning point. The disallowed Calvert-Lewin goal as well. The momentum had swung back to Everton for a little bit. The interplay for that goal was fantastic, but it is correctly ruled out for offside. So VAR quickly and incisively being used. None of this lengthy spell going, let's have a look at about 20 billion replays. It's done quickly, it's done efficiently. We get on with the game. But again, that momentum was going in Everton's favour at that point, and it swings back to United's favour. And then, obviously, Rashford scores the winning penalty for his first ever goal against Everton. So he's scored 106 goals now, first one against Everton, which amazes me considering the amount of times Man United and Everton have played each other in Rashford's career. Now, breaking the game down, United start very, very quickly. Everton very passive defensively. Rashford is allowed far too much time and space to have an attacking run. The cross in is brilliant, dangerous area, and Anthony is the player making the run in the box, and any touch would have sent it in. He does a slide tackle with the ball base into the back of the net, but that's too easy. Too easy. And when you're a team under pressure that needs to perform and have a cup run maybe can get you that momentum, I am surprised with how passive Everton were to start the game in the first 7-8 minutes. Then they get a bit of time. They have a 3-minute spell. Just a 3-minute spell before their goal. I don't know what De Gea is doing. That is some bizarre goalkeeping. Put your body behind the ball. Put your body behind the ball. In the end, he nutmegs himself with a deflection off his own leg. Goes through his legs, and Connor Cody's not going to have an easier goal in his career. And Everton equalise. After that equaliser in the first half, the game sort of lost a bit of direction and structure, and it was just end-to-end counter-attack, but sloppy play as well. So that final third, both sides weren't getting it right. And misplaced passes, so the other team go back on the counter-attack. Where Everton were best were down their right. Where United were best were down their left. So that side of the field is where the game has been won and lost this evening. But again, through the middle channel of the field as well, and the other flank as well, there was also opportunities. But where all the goals have actually really come from are down Everton's right and United's left. So that's where the game's been won and lost. Now, it's 1-1 at half time. I think that is fair, a fair reflection on the game. Both sides were being a bit sloppy, which is what made the game really entertaining, because it was very, very open. And the problem is both sides defensively look very passive. I think that's a weakness for Manchester United. Two weaknesses of Man United: no out-and-out striker or strike partnership. We can have two strikers or one striker. It doesn't matter how you set up. They don't have that goal scorer or goal scorers up front. That's a problem that needs rectifying. And defensively, they look a bit passive as well when play gets turned over, because they don't have that centre forward to hold the ball up necessarily to then distribute when play breaks down in that final third. You don't have that physical presence keeping the eyes of the centre backs as an out ball busy, so you lose that kind of press, and so it is easy to be counter-attacked against. On the Everton side of things, just passive defensively and very, very outworked in midfield. So Everton have got a lot of problems, and it's more than just Lampard being the wrong guy to manage the club. I don't think it's a good fit. I think the problems at Everton, I think everyone knows the problems at Everton go back 20 odd years of real poor decisions taken at the board level behind the scenes. Apart from the period of Joe Roy and David Moyes being in charge, those two managers, where the last two FA Cup finals they've appeared in, one being a win and one being a defeat, Everton are all over the place. And since David Moyes has been manager of both United and Everton, that 9-month spell, it's been a disaster for both clubs, quite frankly. Yes, United have won some trophies in that time, but it has been an absolute shambles for both clubs. Anyway, enough about the tangent there. Back to the game. So, It's 1-1 at half time. Second half starts, and Everton have actually got a nice little swing of momentum, a little bit of a swing of momentum, and then Alex Iwobi gets his ankle injury, which I think is a broken ankle. It's a bit worrying. Lengthy spell of treatment. At first, you're thinking it's a sprain, he's just rolled his ankle, but actually looking at his reaction, not getting up, looking at the replays, I think that is a fracture or an actual nice, just a clean break. It hasn't punctured the skin. 20 years ago, that is, studs get caught in the muddy turf, your leg just explodes, basically, his ankle explodes. I still think that is a clean break or a hairline fracture because his reaction, and I've done my ankle, both ankles, playing rugby, I will tell you that, his reaction is worrying. He's taking about 6-7 minutes of treatment. He leaves on the stretch down the tunnel. I hope it isn't a break. I do. But that is a headache that Everton do not need on the injury front. Their depth is being tested so far, and they were actually on the upswing with momentum. After that injury, United go down the other end within 2-3 minutes of play resuming, down their left. Again, Rashford causing problems. Connor Cody, bad positioning defensively, again, because of that passive defence and getting positionally wrong and allowing a very threatening player with pace to cross the ball in. It's an own goal. And it beats Pickford all ends up. And it's 2-1. There are further momentum swings in the game, and another key one, the second key momentum swing, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goal being disallowed for offside, correctly by VAR. The build-up play is fantastic, though, I will admit this. Best bit of play in the game, and you want to see it rewarded. 5-6 years ago, that's given, because there's no VAR. And it is a tight offside, but it's not one of those ones where they have to draw lines on the TV. It's obvious enough that the linesman and the referee have missed it. It's not one of those ones where we're talking millimetres. We're talking enough of the body is ahead of the defender for it to be offside. But the build-up play is brilliant. That is the creativity that Everton have been lacking consistently this season. And Calvert-Lewin hasn't been performing well this season. Fact. But that build-up play was brilliant. The interplay. And unfortunately, that's another momentum swing back to United, because that was when the momentum had swung to Everton again and the goals disallowed. And then United's the momentum is in their way. It's United are in control again with the majority of possession and chances, but there's still those misplaced passes. There's still those counter-attacks for Everton. Then they misplace a pass. Then it's United. Then it's Everton. But the better chances and the better areas of possession is a United swing. The penalty is soft, but I've seen softer ones given, and I mean, this day and age, yeah. And there was the check with VAR, again, quickly done. It's a sloppy challenge, but again, down that left-hand channel of United, so the right-hand side of Everton's defence was poor this evening. It was very, very exposed, very passive, indecisive, and again, it's a Rashford pass to the other player. I don't know what the defender's doing. It is just don't make contact. You just force him wide with your body presence, your body positioning. You just force, but because they've been caught on the back foot, passive again, it's a soft penalty. But we've seen much softer ones given, and by the letter of the law, he's made contact. The player, he's put an arm on him, hardly a touch. But 20 years ago, that isn't a penalty. 25 years ago, players gone down softly, probably get booked for diving. But it's given. And to be fair, with the way Everton defended down on their right-hand side, it was a matter of time before they gave away a free kick or a penalty. That results in a third goal, and it's Marcus Rashford, and it's a very well taken penalty. I think his Euros, except the final, the Euros and the World Cup, so the last two tournaments, I think his confidence, it's gone up and down. But he's had a positive World Cup, even though England didn't progress past the quarterfinals. And he's carried that confidence back to United, and that's crucial. He was their best player tonight. If Marcus Rashford gets injured or loses a bit of form, United are in trouble. I think he was the best player on the field by some margin over the whole 90 minutes. Everton, they are in trouble. They are relegation fodder right now. I can't see how they can get out of trouble. A cup run or a win tonight could have given him a bit of confidence going into the game against Southampton. I think Lampard's done. I think he's sacked come morning. I can't see him being manager come lunchtime tomorrow. United, Ten Hag, the results are coming, but there's still some concerns about some of their final third decision making, that lack of a striker or strike partnership, and some of the defensive decisions this evening. Again, for the Connor Cody goal, the communication, because they clear it and they don't win that second ball, and then it comes back in again, and then De Gea. Is De Gea's time at Man United up? Is the fact they're linked with Jack Butland, whether it gets confirmed or not is another thing, but bringing another starting kind of goalkeeper who's been an international, although Jack Butland has played in the Championship and hasn't quite established himself as what was anticipated when he was breaking through, but he's still got a lot of experience. Being linked with another goalkeeper to the club, is De Gea on the way out? Is that a sign of a goalkeeper who's clocked out? Because that goal he concedes is ridiculous. And to be fair, he's not very commanding when it comes to the disallowed goal either. So is De Gea on the way out? We shall see. But for me, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the game below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.